A very good afternoon to the eminent speaker, Professor Dr. Vivek Khare sir, Dean, Jagran Lake City University, Bhopal, Professor Mona Purohit ma'am, Head and Dean, Department of Legal Studies and Research, Director, Droid Penal Group, respected dignitaries and participants present over here. I, Dr. Geeta Chauhan from the Department of Legal Studies and Research, Barakatullah University, Bhopal, welcome you all to day 9 of the 15 days of online course on teaching organized by the a unit of Arjun Das Gulati Memorial Society Learning Center, a scheme under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Mission on Teachers and Teaching, Ministry of Education, Government of India. For today's session 1, we have Professor Dr. Vivek Khare sir to speak on the topic Innovative Methods of Teaching. Sir has wide experience in teaching, administration and research. His areas of specialization include accounting, finance. Warm welcome to you, sir. We are truly privileged to have you here with us. I now request sir to kindly proceed with the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Chauhan, and good afternoon, one and all present here. So this is a session, and we have this, as she has already introduced about the topic of the session and innovative methods of teaching. Because most of you people may not be from our generation, and I always believe that from our generation, when we started teaching, the way of teaching were very different, and now the people are a very, very different way of teaching methods have adopted. As I said, it's a very crucial skill for teachers. I always believe that innovative teaching methods and approaches can significantly enhance the student learning process. Innovating our teaching strategies is no easy feat, because always the people didn't like the changes every time. And innovative teaching is the very, very important nowadays, because the world is changing every day. And it can be scary also, because just like our student, it places us out of our comfort zone in a position where we can fail. However, experimenting new methods and strategies, we can improve student engagement, motivation, and attainment, and it's a win-win for both students and teachers. I will quickly add that when I started, if I will give my example, when I started teaching, we started on a blackboard and a green board with white chalks. Then I'm just giving an example. Then the whiteboards came with the markers, and then again, now we are doing in a PowerPoint. The transformation from the traditional teaching methods, I'm talking about the methods right now. The transformation from traditional teaching methods such as blackboard, textbooks, etc., to computer-aided presentation has been innovative over time. For my generation, even from blackboard to green board and teaching with the help of OHP was innovation. Such innovative teaching methods have improved the learning processes and strengthened the governance. And this is how I always believe that what is important. And now, if as a teacher, because I want this as in between, I would like to have the participants who are attending to be interactive also. What do you feel as a required skills as a teacher? Because until and unless skills are there as a teacher, this adaptability or talking about the innovative methods of teaching is of no use. What you feel are the required skills as a teacher? Can anyone would like to add something, would like to tell? Anything in your mind?
Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Regarding, sir, innovative skill, whenever we have applied nowadays in our teaching, particularly we are using the presentation like PPT mode we are using, and by that way we have to give certain case studies,
You're
certain
not audible,
role
Madam
play.
Betty.
Okay, it's not audible, sir. May I audible? Hello.
Yes, now I can hear your voice.
Okay, sir. Very good afternoon, sir. May I audible, sir?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, in our teaching process, we are applying some presentation skill like PPT mode we are using. Okay, sir. So in that method, nowadays it is very interesting for the student, because by that way there are certain skills we have applied, like case study method we have applied, and also we have applied certain role play videos. On that way, it is more interesting for the students to capture, and they have to be motivated, and interactive becomes so well. That's the
Absolutely.
innovative thing we have applied.
Yes, I got your point, and purposefully I am not showing slides today because now we people have adopted the slides. So I have thought that I will talk about that. In between, I will show you the slides because I have the slides are prepared, but then I thought that everyone is teaching with the slides, so I will have some new method of doing that because now we have adapted the situation. And that is why I purposefully asked the question that what are the required skills as a teacher? Of course, I agree with you. Innovation is a slide showing. Innovation is a project-based learning. Innovation in a group discussion learning. These are all the new innovation. But what you feel as the required skills as a teacher, and again and again, I have repeated one word: adaptability.
Sir,
Can
may I?
Yes, sir, please.
Sir, I think it depends upon the class or category of the students how we can implement a particular technique. For example, if I go for teaching in law colleges which are in very remote areas, there are
Yes.
certain law colleges where even people don't understand English properly. So there I have to cultivate such kind
Yes.
of culture that they can at least understand the basic concepts of law. But when I am coming in an NLU structure, there the teaching methodology is completely changed. And here we can obviously take aid of all these innovative technological innovations for the purpose of aid of the
Right now you
students.
are in this remote area because again, you're not. I am not getting your voice properly, and I don't know what is happening.
Hello, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes. Now it is better.
Yeah. So actually, it's totally dependent upon the class of the students which we are teaching.
Yes.
That was my
Right.
specific point. When we are teaching in remote areas, the teaching methodology will be totally different. When we are teaching in an advanced law college, such as the NLUs, the teaching aptitude or the teaching technique is totally different. Here, the students can also afford for those technical innovations. But in rural areas, the students are incapable of adopting such kind of technological innovations also. So that is the difference which we have to take, I think.
Anyway,
into
okay, I will
consideration.
discuss it because still I am not able to get. I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Now you are audible, sir.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, as I was talking about the required skills as a teacher, and I purposefully said that number of times I've repeated that words, that is adaptability. Why I talk about that word? Because there are certain skills which is required as a teacher, but at the same time, you need to be an adaptability should be there, because every day, as I said, that I think still there is a problem in the audio. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now am I
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
you
sir,
are
you are
Yes, sir.
audible.
Okay. So as I was talking, I'm very sorry. I don't know where was the problem because I was not able to hear anyone's voice, and even I think my voice was not audible. So as I was talking about the adaptabilities to adjust the changes in the environment, being adaptable means you can respond quickly to the changing ideas, responsibilities, expectations, trends, strategies, and other processes. Because this adaptability is very, very important as a teacher. And I'm talking this because we have changed certain change, and as we were discussed in the beginning, that now the project-based learning, assignment-based learning. Earlier there was a classroom teaching, and now that is one way. This until and unless you people as a teacher, and I know you people are very good teachers. I believe that you people are very good teachers. So the adaptability skills is the quality which is very, very important as a teachers to as a teacher you people should have. And as I always believe, because when we are talking about the innovative teaching methods, the having confidence as a teacher. And then why I'm talking about the skills, because this, if you are equipped with all the skills and the faculty is equipped with all the skills, automatically every day will come out with some new methodology or methods of teaching. Having confidence as a teacher can improve your overall effectiveness as well as your well-being. Unfortunately, students can be quick to spot a lack of confidence. That is very, very important. If, as a faculty, then all methods and everything will be of no use if as a faculty, that is the skills, and the way of teaching is very important. You have the skills. As a teacher, you must have a very, very confident person in the class, because students are very smart enough nowadays. They understand, and which can lead to issue with the classroom management. If you are not confident, the students will understand, and you will not be able to manage the class effectively. The level of confidence teachers have in the ability to guide students to success has been highlighted for decades as an important influence on student outcomes. This is very, very important. And believe me, why I'm talking all these things, because we are the mentor. As a teacher, we are a mentor, we are a leader, and all these things, all these methods will go for the students, and students will keep that in mind. Then one more important thing is the good communication skills. Good communication skills can help teachers to better understand their students and to build positive relationships with them. In addition, I can say good communication skills can help teachers resolve conflicts and manage their classroom effectively. This is very important, and the communication is every part in the world is very, very important. And everyone says that communication is very, very, very important too. And as a teacher, you must be a continuous learner. By doing lifelong learning, teachers can set an excellent example for students because those teachers are learning while teaching. This is how we are moving towards the innovative teaching method. Until and unless we learn regularly or we update us regularly, we cannot have an impact on the students. This hard work will get recognized by our students, which create a positive mindset. And that is the mantra for a successful teacher. And that is how, and in turn, this can encourage the students to develop into lifelong learners. Our students will also be a lifelong learners. Then, where we are talking about innovative teaching skill now as a teacher, one very important skill is imaginative. And why I'm putting this point imaginative is such teachers shows a flexibility of mind that enables them to present a subject in a new and engaging way. For example, a very, very simple example, and I always believe in that example. And I will ask you people in between, if say in a university or in a college, someday there are 6 faculties are on leave and 3-4 classes are going. Now we are not able to manage those classes. Maybe as a management class or maybe as a commerce fair and maybe in a law. What best you can do to engage the students in that time? If, for example, your 3 faculties are present, 6 are absent due to some unavoidable reasons, and now you have to manage the class. What innovation you will do? Can you tell everyone to go to the library? Will you tell everyone to go to the appetite area to eat something or to the canteen area? Or can you do something which can be a learning for the student, as well as you were able to engage the student? That is called innovation in teaching. Someone was talking about the group discussion and other project-based teaching. So what, as a teacher, you would do in this hypothetical situation? Can anyone would like to add that? Any activity you feel will be the best thing for the student?
Sir, we will give some assignments for the students.
Assignment about what?
Of that particular subject, whatever they have learned last class, on that way we have to give. By that way they can write. And
but don't you think, this is again, I'm not saying you cannot do that, but I'm just asking, don't you think this may be the students may go to the library and they will write it from the books, or they will download it somewhere from the internet? Anything in order new thing. Again,
so we can go for a moot court. We can go for a moot court series on that particular.
Yeah. Anything? Because I want you people, something like that. Someone has written, and if they want to add, they can add. Someone has written quiz. You could have a quiz, but how you will manage the quiz parallelly in 6 classes or say 2 other classes?
Sir, flipped classroom, yeah, blended learning.
Yeah, okay. Or even, for example, I can give a very small example of a management student. I remember, say 5 years, 10 years back, I remember there was, all of a sudden I came to know that there were 4 faculties are going for some training in one college. And there are only 3 faculties we left in the university or in the college. I was working in the college. And they said, now you 3 have to manage the 6 MBA management classes. One was MBA class, others were BBA and other class. The management students were there. I'm giving this example for the management, say, assuming that there is a management student. That, as someone has mentioned about the law, moot court, they can take them to the moot court. So what we have done, and this is again a new thing which even students would love to do that. We told them that tomorrow the teachers will be on leave and we cannot give you the holiday. We told them that you go to the malls or the marketplaces, prepare, you should have a group of 4-5 students. You have to go somewhere in the malls or some in marketplaces. You have to see the positioning of the product, where they have positioned the product for say X brand and Y brand. You have to compare those products, or you have to see how the shopkeepers are doing business in a group of 5 people. Earlier, we thought that we are just sending them to the malls and the market. Will that give any results? But believe me, and this actually we were not aware that we will get that good result. We have given them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do all these activities and told them to come with a proper presentation on say Monday. The students came. You won't believe students came. Some students went to the cardboard, some area where in a plywood, there was a shop of a plywood, the seller of plywood. They got samples from them also. And the way they have presented the positioning and the pricing of the product and how the customers were engaging, because of that simple activity to engage the student out of the class, the students were able to understand how the product can be positioned, how when as a marketing person, how the people will not allow you to enter shop sometime. So these all learning came out, and the students were able to understand how to work in a proper group, how to deliver, how to present the things. Why I'm telling this? Because in a classroom, in a colleges or in a university, this situation may occur. There are sometimes we need to adjust the things. Sometimes we have to manage all these things. I have given the example, I send them to the marketplace, but it doesn't mean that everyone will send everyone to the marketplace. You have to think like that. If these type of situation came, how you will react to this situation? Maybe assignment, as someone says, maybe something even you can tell them you can, if you are a law student, discuss on some certain cases, discuss on a current cases in some regular, some related to IPR or something like that. This is, you need to decide what, as and when it required. This you cannot plan every time. This is the instant thing that you have to think when there is because you cannot send student out every time, because there may be a possibility that all of a sudden because the people might take leaves, and you have to adjust all these things. And this can be one way of innovation also. Then you are able to understand that how it give impact on the student and what is the effect of these activities on the students. And because of these activities, students may able to perform better in the coming day. Again, this is not necessary that these exercises, because classroom teaching is again very important. I am not saying you didn't have to teach in the class and every time you have to do some innovation in the class. But at the same time, we need to think out of the box. Until and unless we will think out of the box, it should not be monotonous. It should not be the lecture only. And it should not be like that students will go in the class, come in the class and do any class, whatever. So this is, you must be imaginative. Imaginative means you have your mind, it should be very flexible to understand the importance of the situation, and you should understand, you would be able to engage the student and present a subject in a new way. You every time people says how we will present the law in a new way. I understand law teacher cannot change the laws or acts, cannot they, but at the same time they can make it interesting by relating that with some cases. And that is very important. The student, this is again, you may feel that this will not work every time, but sometime it works also. If you will relate the theory with the cases you required, and that is again a new way of teaching everywhere. And I think I'm not saying you people are not doing that. You must be doing that also. So ultimately, our aim or any innovation or any new techniques, our aim is to enable students to understand it better and also to take pleasure of the learning. They should not feel the burden of learning. They should always feel that, and learning, when they will understand, they will have a pleasure in learning. They will learn very fast. An imaginative education is a way of teaching and learning that is based on the to engaging learners' imagination. You have to engage their imagination also, and you have to think what might be possible in a manner that is not tightly constrained by the actual or taken for granted. This is, as a teacher, you need to decide. Every time there will be a different situation. Every time you cannot set rule for every time, every class. You have to, every time there will be a different situation. Every time you will find some new bunch of students. Some students would like only theoretical thing, has to regularly go into it. And some people want such new way of thinking. So, but at the same time, and this all can be done if you will be, and this is as a teacher, we need to be a self-discipline. We cannot be an orderly behavior in these situations to the student, because sometimes, and at the same time, you have to be a very confident to manage learning activities in the classroom. And if you will be self-disciplined, you will always be on time. Automatically, your students will be on the time. And because all these things will taken, because all these innovative ideas, when you will go for the innovative this innovative idea, all these ideas or innovative methods of teaching is to engage the class, and you should have that ability to engage the class, because when students are engaged in the learning process, they are less likely to lose interest in what they are taught. And we can say, if they will not engage properly, they will start losing interest in that subject. I heard from many students in the university or in the colleges where they said, sir, we didn't like this particular subject. Why they are not liking that subject? There are two things. Either sometime in the theoretical paper, where we call it as a theory paper, and again the law faculty will vouch for it. The most of the papers in the law domain is related to the theory. They have to go through the acts. In management, there may be a perceptions, and after the theoretical things, they can at least assume so many things. But if they will start losing interest in the classroom, it always there is something wrong in our teaching. We can say in our teaching style, or we are not able to engage the students in a new way. And again, as I'm again repeating, coming from Blackboard to Greenboard to OHP projector, and now from OHP projector to the PowerPoint presentation, these are the changes, but these are the changes in a way of delivering the lecture. These are not the methods where in a new style we are teaching. New style of teaching doesn't, because in a PowerPoint presentation also, most of us we are giving them a full slides in which we are giving the definition, which we are giving all the things which are given in the books. The students are not interested to read the slides, whatever is given in the books. The slides should be in such a way where the student should get only the bullet points, and then as a faculty, you have to tell the students, and you have to come with such a way that students will always engaged in your class. As a teacher, you should be understand about the technology also, because every time when you will come, and now as I will say, because the students will come in your class to engage the students, you should understand the technology also, because the learning possibility technology can also improve teachers' efficiency. Because if you are aware of the latest technology required to for teaching or for other thing, then this will improve this will improve our efficiency. It also allows us to modify our teaching methods to suit the learning concepts to be taught. Because sometimes students require, because if there is a board lecture, the students will think, students want that there should be something interesting should come. In a classroom teaching where we have a physical interaction with the students and one-to-one facing, I used to give them some slides, and in between I used to show them some videos. The reason why showing the videos is that they should be engaged in the classroom. And if you're not able to understand the technology, then maybe possible students will not connect with you in this classroom. And other than that, you have to be an able person to empower the students. You should be very patient in the class. And your commitment level should be very, very high. And why I've added all these things, the patience, the commitment, and you have to, one very important thing as a teacher, you should be ability to manage your online reputation. This is very, very important thing. As a teacher, what you say and do online and what others say about you can have a major impact on your professional reputation. It can also influence decisions that people make about you. For a good teacher, because again, all the skills, whatever you do in the class, it's related with an individual person also. As we were discussing that imagination should be there, but at the same time, the skills are very important to engage the student in the class, because your online reputation may have an impact on your teaching also. And if your online reputation is not good amongst the students, what will happen? They will not accept any of the new ideas you are giving in the classroom. And that is the reason I said any innovative teaching thing, because you will going to teach the theories which is given in the books that you need to taught. The only problem is the way you are teaching and how the students are adapting those things. For all these things, your relation between the students and the teacher is very, very good. And all these things are interrelated, because until and unless there's a teacher, believe me, your online reputation may have a major impact on your professional reputation. It may be good or bad. If it is a good, you will get a good responses in the class. This is why whenever we post online and when we respond to what other post is really very, very important. Because if we will not able to understand what others are posting and what we are posting, this will have an impact on your teaching also. And in between, and now I just want to do one activity, and I would like, again, after discussing all the skills, because there are certain more skills which is required as a faculty, but I want you people to engage for 5 to 10 minutes. No one will talk to any because you should be online, and you have to come with some unique idea where you must have done that idea in teaching, because of a new idea in the teaching when you taught your students a new or innovative idea, what you feel is something out of the box, and that after think for 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then only 5 students, because I don't want everyone will just do that. Only 4, 5 people, if they would able to present their idea, not in a PowerPoint, even they can speak. And so I want this small activities. So can someone will do that? Are you people are interested in doing that activity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that would be great, because think for 2, 3, 4 minutes and come out of the what we have already discussed, something new you can think of. We have discussed about the assignments, we discussed about the group, something which you feel may be very good for the students. Only this is 4-5 up to 4-7 you can have time, and then we will discuss on this side. 2 minutes only.
Sir, may I start?
Uh, 2 minutes, let the people think about this, and at 4-7 we will start again.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Who wants to start?
Sir, I'll start.
Anyone.
Sir, I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Sir, I'm teaching the subject of law of evidence in Law College, VM Silgaonkar at Goa. So what we have done is we have given a real life situation case to students, the file of a judgment which is already over. And we have a practice of mock trial where it is less involvement of the teacher and more involvement of students. Say one person acts as a judge, one person divides the roles amongst themselves, including the bench clerk and everything. In doing all this, they learn different skills relating to law of evidence, law of your IPC, etc., even the areas that they have already completed. So it is more of interactive as well as self-learning for the students with less of teacher intervention. So this is one method that we have done. And at the same time, they also, sometimes we get them corrected whenever they have got certain things wrong. So this is one method that we adopt.
So sort of a muting MD, we can say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just I want to know, okay, what scenario you give them, means because how they will collect the evidences in the classroom or something like that. Can you
so what has,
a little bit on
yes,
that?
Yes, what has happened is, like when we give a criminal trial case, like I have taught them what is cross-examination. I've taught them what is leading questions. I've taught them how the entire process goes on. But this would be more of theory. But when they are actually doing this, enacting it, what are leading questions, how the questions are posed in cross-examination, this entire skill, what should be done, what should not be done. So it is a way of, after this entire cycle is over, we have a discussion on that. So that adds to them learning it in a better way.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. So may I, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm from Assam. I'm Dr. Karavi Burman.
Okay.
So actually, like what I do in a particular cases is that when I want to immerse my students in the subject is that I give a particular case and there I divide into small groups, and some of them I tell to find out the social issues involved in the case. Some of them I'll tell to find out the political issues involved in the case and other economic implications, if any, and the legal issues involved in the particular case. So likewise, what happens, so the entire group, they get immersed into the subject, and the group wise, they come and throw light on the issues involved in the particular case. And then the entire class, they just get into the subject. They just immerse themselves into the subject.
Madam, just a small question in that.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know, means when you give this type of assignments or this type of activity to the students, do you give them some time to prepare for it? Because when
Yes, sir.
you're talking
Yes.
about evidences and when you're talking about the cross-question examination and other things, because they
Oh, no,
need
sir.
to.
I'm not talking about evidence, sir.
No,
I'm
I'm just giving, I've taken other.
okay. Yes, sir.
I just
Yes,
want
sir.
to
Like,
know,
yes,
because
sir.
when we
Sir,
give some example, when something to do to this, something for the student,
yes,
they
sir.
they will have to means they will have to showcase what they have exactly done or the discussion they have to
Yes,
do.
sir.
So
Supposing,
it
sir,
have some
I give
relevant it should have some relevant documents or something relevant cases has to be they have to highlight. So
exactly, sir.
how much
Supposing,
time you give them for the preparation of that?
yes, sir. Supposing Sabarimala issue.
Yeah.
That we give. Then tried, like, suppose find out the sociological issues involved in the case. So supposing each group we give 5 minutes, just
Okay.
5 minutes, think about it. And
Okay.
accordingly, our students, they have taken out the social issues involved. Then historically, what are the views, the economic implications involved, political issues involved, the legal issues involved in the case. So students, they come to know about before, like, the judgment, they analyze in a thorough manner in that regard, sir.
Okay. So means during this classroom activity, this is one of the activities which can engage the students and would have more participation rather than engaging the students. You will have
Yes.
the more participation from the students. What I believe
Yes.
is.
Yes, sir. Participation and so engaging also, because in there are certain students who might not be aware also. So at least they go through the case at that point of time by
Yes.
means of the
Right.
technology, and
Right.
they immerse themselves, sir.
Right. And any other idea? Any other from the person who is not from the law background want to add something?
I'm from back again the same person, but I want to add another thought to it.
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. We have another way wherein we ask them to. It's an open book sort of evaluation where we give them problems on what all topic is covered and is then analyzed by means of they applying their various mind to that particular part. Like, for example, since I'm teaching evidence, I give them from section 6 to 10. I would give them problems, and around 5 problems are being universally displayed to everyone in class. And they have to find out what probable sections would apply. And sometimes we have students who think out of the box and have different reasons for their particular justification. So
Yes.
this is one way wherein everyone may not have the same route, the same method of explaining themselves. So their angle and their viewpoint is also appreciated here.
Good. Okay. So anyone has any other idea which they want to add?
Sir, may I?
Please.
I also from law background.
And no one has to take any permission. If you have any idea, you feel free to add all your views.
Sir, I also from the legal background.
Yeah.
And we have some clinical paper, for example, the Legal Service Authority Act and, jail visit and court visit, how the system is supposed to be worked. And, how you can seek a legal aid from the legal service authorities. And we have also ADR mechanism that we can visit the mediation center and arbitration and conciliation, how they're going to be take place. Specifically nowadays, the Lok Adalat have very important meaning in our social life and the social justice. So with regard to clinical paper to visit this kind of organizations, so student will getting some ideas with regard to how this institution functions and how the justice is supposed to be achieved through this particular mechanism, which is also important part of judicial mechanism. So I think the clinical paper, we need to be more focused on the, visiting these institutions where we can get more practical basis, how to file a filing, how the cross examinations in the legal services, how to claim compensation, how in the domestic violence, under the Motor Vehicle Act, how to pay the challan. So these things, they are more important nowadays. And specifically, sir, in the environment of information technology, how to file an online FIR, how to file how to file this kind of banking fraud applications. So I also from the IT law faculty, we can cyber laws. So these things, for example, if you look at the NCRB data, the major target of this victim, it is young generation, sir. They don't know how to address this kind of the complaint, is where to file it, with what is the cyber police, whether cyber police or the police station both are the same thing. So I think this kind of the clinical paper, it is also required in such kind of diversify the knowledge. So for that will be help to the student to think about it. Okay, we can also file an FIR in the online banking system if the ATM fraud, data theft fraud. So this is very, important aspects nowadays. So this is only my submission. That is. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. And even you can send the students to the local police station, how the police people are having this FIR and how they deal, because that is the area where law students will learn how the police will which sections will be imposed on the person. So if they would understand this, that would be easy for them to present that in a court also. This is my understanding. If they can do that, I don't know, few people will expert. Yeah. So, and any other person wants to add something? So ultimately, all these things are very important, because why I ask you people, it's a new way when online teaching is there, because if I will only show you the slides, of course, there will be 2-3 slides, which I will show you. There is one video I will show you after 5-7 minutes, and I would like to have your understanding on those video. Again, that would be an assignment, and I would request the people, if they can, the organizer, if they can see the people who are participating, and if they have some marking scheme. So that would be great, because the people will more participative in that manner. Only 3-4 people will not participate. So this is, as we were talking about, the most important thing as what are the innovative methods, or what may be innovative method. And all subjects have their different way of, all teachers have their different way of teaching in the classroom. Again and again, I am emphasizing that you have to teach the subjects. How interestingly you will teach the subjects, this is you people have to. And when I talk about the PowerPoint presentation or the teaching on the blackboard, that is the method of teaching, and that is from the traditional or new method. At the end of the day, as I said, you have to teach the theories. You have to teach the subject. You have to teach, the student should understand. As a law student, they should understand what are the subjects they are learning. But how the teacher would able to make that class interesting is depend by using a new method. As we were discussing, some people may give them live examples. Some people, they give some hypothetical cases will be given to them, and based on that cases, you will find more students will participating in the classes. So, and this is all you people are very important, is there are 4 C's. We used to say that this is a skill which teacher is required, is the 4 C. One is a critical thinking, I always believe. And this is very important to how your creativity, critical thinking. These 2 things are very, very important. And when you would able to understand all these things, and when you will deliver this in the classroom, the students will automatically connect with you. If you are creative and you will come with some new ideas in the classroom, it is not easy for me to give some 10 examples how to engage the class. That based on your situation, based on the subject, you can think of having something new you have to do in the class. And that is what I always believe as a teacher, you people should understand. You people is very, very, you have an ability of, I can say, critical thinking. It is very essential for the improvement. It is the mechanism that weeds out problems and replaces them with fruitful endeavors. If you will think critical, you have a critical thinking, and another part which I always believe is the creativity. Creativity is equally important as a means of adaptations. The skill empowers students to see concept in a different light, which leads to innovation. That is why I always believe as a teacher, you must be creative. In any field, we were discussing in any field, innovation is the key to the adaptability and overall success of a person in the class or a teacher. Learning creativity as a skill requires someone to understand that the way things have always been done may have been best 10 years ago, but somebody that has to change. If 3 years back, 4 years back in 2019 or 2020, beginning of 2020, we were not, most of us may not be able to teach online. But in 2020, everyone learned that skills. So that was again, that was a need of at that hour. So you learn that skill, how to teach. But in coming days, all these things are very important. And that is the reason I said you should understand technology. You should see how the changes have been done. And when we are talking about the innovative things, one very important thing is the collaboration. The collaboration means getting students to work together. They achieve compromises. They have to compromise. When the students will work together, they have to compromise on certain situation. And they should get the best possible results from solving a problem. As you people yourself was telling me, you give some problems to the students during the teaching. And now student has to find out some solutions of that problem. Maybe a law problem, maybe a business problem, maybe any problem. When a collaboration can be one of the most difficult concept, but once it's mastered, it can bring anything back to the normal. Because if you are collaborative, even I can move in NEP, the government wants the people should learn other areas also. They should have a mastery of in other area. And that can be only done in a collaborative method. If a management faculty and a law faculty can have some collaborative, and then they can these activities or they can come with some activities and they can bring the students of law and management to there. That can again a collaboration, because a main element for collaboration is the willingness to do. Some people have to sacrifices, and some have to adopt the ideas what others are pitching. And this is again a very important as a faculty and as a teacher, when we are talking about innovative idea and when we are thinking about the innovation in the class, sometimes our students may come with some very innovative idea. You should not straight away say no to that idea, those ideas. And that is what I say, when we are collaborating something, we need to sacrifice our egos in the classroom. Sometimes the students might give you the beautiful idea, which can be very, very helpful for you to engage that class and to deliver your lecture in a very, very interesting manner. And earlier we have already discussed about the communication. What communication is, how communication is important. And then apart from that, when we are going to use all these innovative methods or all whatever we are thinking, there are 3 more important skills nowadays, which this is considered as the literacy skills in 21st century. And that is a very important, is the information literacy, media literacy, and technology literacy. Again, how the media, if we are giving something to the students, and when information literacy and media literacy, why these literacies are this understanding of all these things, why it is important. If the students would able to understand facts, especially data points that they will encounter online, and that is more importantly, information literacy will understand, the students would able to understand how to separate fact from fiction. And media literacy, whatever published, because when we are talking, all the students should understand what is important for them, because nowadays when faculty as in a way of assignment, we give something to them, they will just go to the internet and they will download something and they will give it to you. But the student should understand that whatever is published is correct or not. And technology skills, of course, we have discussed so many things, so many in last 15-20 minutes, because if you understand what technology is, you would able to manage everything in more effective manner. And now I would request if I can share the screen.
Yes, sir, you can share your screen, sir.
Okay, 1 second. This video I am going to show, and this video you people have to just see the video, and then there will be a question related to that, then you have to answer.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be the first follower. You stand out, you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. The flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is the crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So everyone was able to watch this? Hello?
Yes, sir, I could able to see the video which you played.
And the sound was clear?
Yes, sir, the sound was clear.
Now the question is, why I have shown this video? Because this was a particular video where nothing was decided, but it came out with something which so many people like. If you could see, there was one person who was dancing, and then some other people came, and now everyone was dancing. What was the lesson from this video? And this is how you can engage the class. And during the class also, we show some videos to the students, and then we expect some answers from them. What you feel about this video? Just think, because I don't want what exactly they were saying. I don't want to repeat answers from you. Just think about this. Why we have shown this video, and what we should learn from this, and how this can be a new method of teaching leadership in the classroom. And that is the reason I purposefully showed this video. So now, if anyone wants to add something, or anyone understand what this video was? Or you want to see one more time? Because I feel some people did they watch or not? I was not able to see.
Sir, actually, we have not seen that video. Only sound is coming.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Video
that
we
is
couldn't
why
watch.
people
Only we
should have
could hear.
highlighted.
We have not seen that one.
This is what happened in our classes also. So again, I will show it. Now you can see it. 1 second. Now you can see it.
Thought about leadership and making a movement, then let's
I'm not able to see it.
Slide is not seen.
No, sir, no. It's not coming.
Okay. No one can see that?
No, sir. No, sir. No.
No, sir.
Oh. Just 1 second.
Probably the host has to allow share screen
Yes,
by
yes.
the computer.
But this
Sir,
is
present-
again.
The access of share screen is given to the resource person itself.
No, but did you able to see the slides?
Sir, first time I was able to see the slides, but this time it is not shown.
Okay, I will again see what I can do. I think there may be a problem. 1 second. Now, can you see the slide screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you can
Yes,
see
sir.
the slide now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It was my fault. Lack of technology understanding. I admit my fault.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement
It's visible,
happen
sir.
start to finish in
Is it
under
audible
3
and
minutes
visible?
and dissect some lessons.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is he publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be your first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So, I hope now you are able to watch the video properly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now the question, what leadership lessons was in this particular thing? And what may be the reason I have shown this particular thing to you? Is this something innovative you feel after watching this video? You have to, some people have to give some, because I have requested the organizer that if they could mark something into this FDP.
So from the video, what we find is, if you're starting with something, maybe a new learning skill or anything, you may not at start have everyone plunging into it and accepting it readily. But there would be someone who would follow it, and there would be slowly you would find followers. Then eventually, looking at others following, people will accept it and move into that adaptability pattern.
Okay. Anyone else?
The same thing. We have followed that one.
You have to follow, and that is what I'm saying. What is important in this video? In this video, we always believe, and then we get the credit for everything, innovation, everything. But believe me, whatever you do, it should at least go in the mind of someone. First of all, the innovation, the person should understand what you want to communicate to them. Ultimately, once it will, and as in the class, and it happens in this online teaching also, you people must have observed that some people will follow whatever we are saying, some people will come, and that is why I required some of the first follower. This FDP per session may be good or bad, depends upon who will be my first follower. And if someone was able to follow my things, then they will start reacting on that, and automatically the people will start following them. And this happens in our class also. If the class we are teaching in the classroom, there are certain methods which some people will feel that this will not be done. But if there may be some students who will say, no, sir, we can do that, or madam, we can do that. automatically you will find the students are starting following them. So that is the reason I want ki when we are coming with some new ideas or some new thing in the classroom, this is very important that people should understand that idea. And in a teaching also, we cannot come with some movie in the classroom and say that now this is one movie and which law will be applicable on this movie. Maybe again, I will go from, I will talk about the management student. If there is some movie you have to show to the student, then you can show some movies to the student based on the strategies on this war movie. What strategies the students have followed. So everything, when we think about all these things, we need to understand what the student can do. As a leader, we should understand how the students will connect to you. And that is the reason the next slide will be important for you. The thing is, why should we always care about the first follower? Because your first follower is very, very important. Getting a first follower is a crucial first step to building and keeping that trust as you are bringing change in the classroom. Get their buy-in and effectively lead your team. When you were able to find out and you care about the first follower, and this is every time you should not have to follow, but this is how I want to relate the innovative things you are going to do in your classroom. So, and how do you get the first follower to work? It is not necessary that you call someone. In that video, you must have seen that a leader was just dancing, and the first follower is the spark that makes a fire. That is very, very important. And when you were able to do that, when you were able to do a single person in your class with how you are effective teaching methods, all of a sudden you will find that people are following you. The people will start following what you want to communicate to them. This is, I always believe that this as a teacher, we should be, which side you will like more. We are not boss in the classroom. We, as a leader, we have to come in front. The mission is same. If we will just force our students to just follow the things what sitting on a dais, they will not follow. As a leader, and when we are coming with some innovative thing, we have to act like a leader. And in any discipline, the discussion is very, very important. The people, I don't know whether this video will work or not. This is the last video I would like to show. And I think you would understand what I want to tell. Anyways, no problem. So this was actually, from my end, this was very important that this video and the discussions, when I teach in the class and when I feel that the students need to understand in this particular way, you have to think, you have to be very creative, and you have to deviate from your plans in the classroom. Flexibility in the teaching is very, very important, because you might have come prepared with something in the classroom, and when you see you have to change your plan at the last moment. And when you change the plan at the last moment, sometimes, for example, you are coming in the classroom and you have prepared a lecture on a PowerPoint, and you will not able to, there is no electricity and there is no generator backup. Then what you will do? So you always have something, a new idea should become, and at the same time, if I were not able to show my slides and everything, you cannot, by heart, you cannot learn everything. So you have to come out with some new idea how I will engage the students. And that time you have to motivate the students to accomplish, to understand what you are going to start. You have to plan a small term strategies and small term planning you have to do at the same time to engage your class. And that you can have certain that a new idea can come, go to library, think of this, go to understand some new book and go on internet, find out some social things. So these all are very, very important because your way is not always the best way. The students may always think in the classroom that your way is not always the best way. And you have to know and admit when you are wrong. When in the classroom you are going and you are given some ideas or something and you're starting and some new ideas you have shown, it may not successful every time. There may be some ideas or some new methods which may not be liked by your students. And you have to accept that this is wrong, this may be wrong. Flexibility required them to show humility and accept that they will always have a lot to learn, even when they are experienced. And this is, as a teacher, everything you should be aware. And leadership is someone, as we already discussed, and this is what I want to tell you as a leadership style or a new innovative method of teaching. You have to be, most important thing, you have to adapt the situation. You have to be flexible enough. You should be aware of the new technology, and at the same time, the student, should be able to communicate that properly to the students. And as I shown in that video, a good leader would be able to find a good follower also. And that first follower, I always felt, it is my understanding of the situation, I always felt the first follower is very important. If in the classroom scenario, if you are managing the class, again and again I am repeating, you have to deliver the lecture, you have to teach them a theoretical part, but at the same time, it should be more interesting way. So if you would able to do that, that would be the best thing you can do. Thank you from my end. If anyone wants to add something or someone to, if you have a time, you can add something.
Hello, sir.
Hello. You're not audible, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So initially, thank you very much for the very, very well presentation and an excellent session. The key concept is the basic value a teacher has to carry all throughout his life. Yeah, and as you have said, you have to be well prepared for the challenges, for example, that you mentioned, like electricity failure, and you are prepared for PPT presentation. So similarly, going on further on those lines, these days it is becoming really very challenging as the generation is well acquainted with the devices and use of internet and etc. So maybe when we think about such kind of activities, it is like a continuous upgradation by the teacher is required. We cannot really implement the same tactics and tricks or the methods in every class. Class-wise, the level-wise, of course it changes, but at every level, every day you have to have some better preparation and present it in a different manner.
Right.
So the way you have presented was excellent, sir. So how to deliver an idea, that is what we really learned today.
And the more, as you said, the students are very smart. They will, again, as you said, they are equipped. And that is the reason, and as a faculty, as a teacher, the first thing what we have adopted is a continuous learning.
Yes.
The teacher is a continuous learner because every day a new challenge, every year you might be teaching a same syllabus every year, but as you said, you cannot use the same technique every year. You have to come out with the same idea, new idea.
Yeah, especially after this lockdown time, the students are really resistant to focus, or probably, I don't know what it is, like socio impact, impact of that particular incidents all over the world maybe. But yes, as a science teacher also, I'm experiencing it really too hard to make students focus and implement the processes and practicals what otherwise the students were doing for 3 hours, 4 hours at a stretch. They get really restless after 1 hour, even PG students. So that is another challenge these days, to keep them acquainted and focused. The kind of presentation you have given, sir, such kind of things must be added in the regular activities to catch their attention. I mean, the playful way to keep these students busy and towards a very focused idea, okay, what we are going to learn from. So the
more importantly, now the assignment checking is also where will going to be very difficult. The people are coming with the ChatGPT assignment.
Right.
Now this is a new challenge. So a plagiarism check, you have to be more cautious nowadays. So this is all things you people have to take care as a faculty. And as you said, I agree with you that you have to come every time with the new ideas, and that is why your upgradation of knowledge, and that is why I have related this with the skills which are required as a teacher. So people might think why I was talking about the skills which people are already aware. The reason behind that was I want to, because now we have to, this generation is a techno savvy and they know better than us. So that is the reason we should be well equipped when we are entering.
And what they easily access, we have to go beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. It was really very, very enlightening session.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you everyone for listening. And
thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you.
That is my
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much. Such an interesting, interactive and informative session. We are truly grateful to have you here with us and enlightening us with your knowledge and experience. We will surely benefit from the relevant information, innovative ideas, techniques, methods, strategies, and knowledge provided to us. Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, with your permission, may I start?
Yes, madam. Good evening, madam. Good evening to one and all.
For session 2, we have with us Dr. Rajesh G. Kunur, sir, Professor, Aryabhatta University, to speak on the topic Research Ethics, Research Writing and Reporting. Good evening and warm welcome to you, sir. We are truly honored to have you here with us. I now request sir to kindly proceed with the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. And good evening to one and all those who joined. Before starting, I want to thank and I'm very grateful to Dr. Professor Suresh Kumar Jain, sir, Vice Chancellor of Barkatullah University, Dr. Mona, madam, Dr. Gauri Gulati, and program Dr. Geeta Chauhan, and Dr. A.K. Bakshi, and all those who joined here. Okay, I welcome all of you to today's session on research ethics. Madam, shall I share the screen? 1 minute. Is it visible, madam?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, okay. Welcome to today's session, okay, on research ethics, research writing and reporting. Of course, it is a very, very big, what you say, topic, but I will try to concise and I want to tell you the things, okay. In today's session, we will see as a snapshot, okay, the concept of ethics, principles, scientific misconduct, research writing, and reporting. With the conclusion, with the summary, I conclude today. Okay. As a prologue, okay, what's this research? Usually, if you say that I'm doing in research, okay, means research, okay, finding out the things, okay, searching what is already there. Study.com, okay, they define it is a careful and detailed study into a specific problem, concern, or an issue using the scientific method. Whenever you will say that it is a research, it is a scientific in nature, okay, we will apply the principles of a scientific inquiry. Research is an activity in which people employ systematic empirical methods to answer a specific question. This is from an Harvard University. Okay, means of course, if you see in research is nothing but finding out the new things or something new and adding to your domain of the knowledge. Research is a process of systematic inquiry that entails collection of data, documentation of critical information, and analysis and interpretation of the data information in accordance with suitable tech methodologies set up by specific professional fields and disciplines. Of course, if you see in this process, research is a process. Means if you see what is process, okay, process is a systematic way of doing the things in a stepwise. And always it is an open one, okay, means it is having input, throughput, output. Always, okay, research. And we will take one topic for solving the problem, okay. Then we will define it, we'll define an objective, we'll derive it, and we'll have a hypothesis, we'll frame it. Then we will collect the data by different methods, maybe quantitative, otherwise qualitative, primary data or in secondary data. Then we will analyze it and interpret. Then we, especially in quantitative research, okay, we'll try to test the hypothesis, okay, especially the null hypothesis, and we draw conclusions, okay. Then after doing the conclusions, okay, when you will frame it, okay, then we have to disseminate it. This is one of the function of any researcher. So different books, okay, they have given as phases as choosing and defining, analyzing the data, and communicating. Okay, these are the three phases. This is the overall way of doing a research. Especially if you come to okay, whenever you will follow anything, like academicians and researchers, okay, they have to concentrate on ethics. Ethics plays a very important role. What is this ethics? Okay, body of principles governing right and wrong. Okay, what is right and what wrong of how you take in decision. It may be merely to enable ex post facto abstract judgments about good and evil, or might be an instrumentalist with volitional or motivational power, thereby influencing actors' behavior or how you behave it to the situations. I don't want to go the general ethics. I will come to now about research ethics, okay? Because I told you that whenever you are doing any research, it must be ethically bounded. Research ethics, of course, it is a diverse set of values, norms, and institutional regulations that help constitute and regulate scientific activity. Okay, whenever you're doing, okay, the above all doing anything is to not to harm. It must be helpful to the society, to the individual, to the nation, to the globally. It involves the application of fundamental ethical principles, how you will plan it, how you will conduct it, then how you try to publish it. In addition, it educates and monitors researchers in conducting research to ensure a high ethical standard. Of course, when you see in ethics, okay, we are having actually few ethical principles, which is very globally and standardized way. Okay, first one is the autonomy and respect of the subjects. Autonomy, okay, they are having their own thoughts. They can decide it whether they have to participate it or not. This is the one first principle. And beneficence, I told you that it is beneficial to the individual, those who are participating it, or the samples, and to the not only to the samples, to the researcher also, to the community, to the nation, and to the globally. Okay, for an universal and non-maleficence. Okay, you cannot harm anybody, or even though if it is there, it must be very minimal, and the output or the results must be very high. It must be much more. justice free from exploitation. Okay, there are some of the groups like those who are in what you call vulnerable groups. Okay, you cannot exploit them like in small children. Okay, or in a very poor people, or those who are in downtrodden, or those who are in lacking socioeconomic facilities. Okay, next, scientific validity. Whatever you're doing, it must have in it, it must be valid and it must be evidence based, and honesty is the much more important ethical principles. Coming to honesty, whenever you are doing it, while selecting, while collecting the data, while disseminating it, okay, and you have to maintain the honesty. Okay, it must be as it is. Okay, you cannot fabricate or falsify or misinterpret the data. Next one is the objectivity. Okay, what is the objectivity means? It is strive to avoid bias in experimental design, data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, personal decisions, grant writing, expert testimony, and other aspects of research. Okay, wherever you do any part of a research process, okay, you must be in an objectively. You cannot write as in a subjective way. Next one is the integrity. Whatever the researcher, okay, promises on agreements is there, he or she has to admit to it and he has to follow it, okay, within sincerely. Strive for consistency of thought and action. Whatever you say, it must be seen in the action. Next, carefulness. Avoid careless errors and negligence. It happens a lot because it is not a one-day business, or it is a very long journey, and it is a very, very tedious. On the time, we will try to overcome, or we will see the easiness. Okay, when you will go for an easiness, or when you will not follow the rules and regulations, on the time the errors may occur. Okay, always keep it in mind as a researcher on, okay, when you are going for it, it must be errorless. Okay, and also in negligence. Carefully and critically examine your own work and the work of peers. Okay, if you are employing others, keep good records of each research activities which will validate your research work. Next one is the openness. Okay, we have to be very open. Okay, whenever you're honest, you will be open. Okay, share the data, results, ideas, tools, and resources to one another. Okay, when you will open, you will generate a new thoughts and you can disseminate it. Be open to criticism and new ideas. Okay, very, very important. See, whenever you do anything, okay, people will drag you, people will criticize you, but take it is in a very, very positive sense. When you think that you want to publish a paper, okay, as something which is very, very unique, on the time, maybe others, they may not like, or they may criticize, but whatever the criticism you take is it is in a positive way. Okay, and have a new ideas. Okay, it is always must be in innovative in nature. Just sir has told, okay, the earlier speaker, Dr. Karve sir, okay, how you have to be an innovative, okay, in teaching learning. The same aspects must be inculcated here also. Respect for intellectual property, very, very important. Okay, honor patents if you are having. Okay, otherwise, if you want to go for an patents, it must be very, very ethically sound, and copyrights and other forms of an intellectual property, because whatever you are having, it is your own innovative in nature. Do not use unpublished data, methods, or results without permission. Otherwise, think that one, if you want to use it, okay, you have to know that one, it must be above, or it must be out of an plagiarism. Okay, give credit where credit is due, very, very important. Okay, never plagiarize. If I think that one, if you want to take from an others, okay, some of the ideas or in some of the quotings, you have to know that on how to quote in your thesis, or in your publication, or in your paper. Okay, so you have to go for paraphrasing. When you are doing paraphrasing also, it must be ethical paraphrasing. Next one is the confidentiality. Okay, confidentiality, it shows protect confidential communications such as papers or grants submitted for publication. Okay, personal records, trade or military secrets, and patent records. Okay, you have seen that on there are so many scientists are involved just on few months back. Okay, always keep it in mind that one, it must be confidential. Whatever the data is collected, it is only for your research work. Okay, for your personal, it's not as a general. Okay, whatever it may be. responsible publication, very, very important, okay? Because in the name of getting this many indexes or this many citations, we will go for an unethical publication. Nowadays, it has become it has become as a business, okay? Publish in order to advance research and scholarship, not to advance just your own career, okay? Very, very important that you have to keep it in mind. Avoid wasteful and duplicate publication. It happens, okay? It is also one type of plagiarism. Always, whenever you're doing any publication, you have to publish in only one journal or in only one conference. Responsible mentoring. Help to educate, mentor, and advise the students, okay, very promptly and ethically. Promote their welfare and allow them to make their own decisions. So always keep it in mind because they are having the right to take their own decisions. Respect for colleagues. Respect your colleagues and treat them fairly, okay? Social responsibility. Strive to promote social good and prevent or mitigate social harms through research, public education, and advocacy. Okay? Very, very important. Every researcher or every educator is having a social responsibility, and it must be fulfilled from them. Non-discrimination. Avoid discrimination against colleagues or students on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, and other factors that are not related to their scientific competence or integrity. Okay, don't be biased. Okay, when you will not do non-discrimination, then on the time your research competency and also the research work will be more reliable and valid. Competence, maintain and improve your own professional competence and expertise through lifelong education and learning. Take steps to promote competence in science as a whole. Okay, very, very important. If you want to be competent, you have to learn daily, every day, every minute, every hour. Keep it in mind. You have to have in diverse fields. You have to expertise, because whenever you go for a research, okay, research is not only thing that you are doing only law. You have to know the law. No, it's not as such. Okay, you have to know the all other subjects, and you have to have a mastery. To get that one, you have to read a lot, and you have to write a lot. So read, and write. Next one, ethically principles is the legality. Okay, know and obey relevant laws and institutional and government policies. Very, very important. Think that if you want to conduct any study, okay, where you are doing, that is more important. Whether the institution is allowing or not, whether you are having clearance from institutional review board, okay, whether the government policies, okay, the rule of the law, okay, of that land allows you to conduct or not. Okay, this is very, very important. Otherwise, if it is an illegal or if it is unlawful, don't go for it. Next one is the animal care. Show proper respect and care for animals when using them in research, especially in medical and agricultural sciences. Okay, we'll use in animals because they are more vulnerable. Okay, you have to stick on to the ethics of the animal ethics and also in research ethics. Do not conduct unnecessary or poorly designed animal experiments. Human subjects protection. When conducting research on human subjects, minimize harms and maximize benefits. Respect human dignity, privacy, and autonomy. Okay, these are all the things I highlighted. Here I want to highlight, okay, human subjects protection. How to do it in practical, pragmatic way. If you see, think that one, if you want to test any drug or in some of the drug, when COVID has came, okay, when COVID has came, especially we were in very eager how to arrest it, or in how to arrest the things, or in how to give an immunity to the individuals or our nationals to immune from the COVID. On the time we have to test a drug, and what happened? Even though we are giving an injection, okay, it will be pain, but if you see the pain and the benefits is more. So whenever you are collecting this type of studies, okay, whenever you are telling that you have to do an intervention study, on the time go for a risk benefit ratio. When risks are lesser and benefits are more, then it is a good study and you can go for conducting the research. Coming to, these are all the principles. Okay, we have seen that there are so many different ethical principles I have said. But why we need in research ethics? Okay, in research, first and foremost is to protect the participants or the samples or patients or in society or resources and even including in researcher. Okay, very, very important. It must not be harm to anybody, to ensure accuracy of scientific knowledge. Okay, whenever we will say that one it is an scientific, it shows that okay, it comes from the without bias and without any having an disadvantages. Okay, to ensure accuracy of scientific knowledge. Okay, the facts and figures must be evidence based. Next, to protect intellectual and property rights, very, very important. Okay, today's the era is about rights. Okay, intellectual rights. We're having, there are so many property rights. Okay, then media rights, then intelligence rights. Okay, see, intellectual rights and property rights, we have to highlight it. So this will be to protect from harm and to respect, okay, the privacy and confidentiality of the samples or the individuals and overall the researcher also. And whenever you're collecting it, okay, very, very important, how we will maintain an confidentiality and privacy, okay, or an openness is from informed consent. Whenever you're doing taking any data, okay, it must be, you have to explain them why you're doing, what is this, okay, what is the benefits of doing, then what is the effect of it, okay. So on that time you can take it as an orally, otherwise it must be in a black and white, okay. This is known as an informed consent. Think that one of the samples are in vulnerable group, like in small children, okay. Then those who are having an illegally born children, okay, or street children, on the time, how will take an informed consent? The concerned people or the guardian has to be informed very well. Refrain from coercion and undue inducement. Refrain from exploitation of vulnerable participants who are the like small children, okay, or destitute children, okay. These are all very, very poor children, and those who are elderly persons are vulnerable for research. Bias. Refrain from indiscriminate use of resources. Okay, this is also one of the way to highlight the research ethics. Okay, in this because of an availability of resources, that you cannot exploit it. Okay, you have to use it with a very minimal way, and you have to get the results. Ensure favorable risk-benefit ratio. Risk should be minimized and potential benefit to society must be outweighed risk. Okay, this is also done by calculation also, and also by having the sanctity of an review board. It must be social value, improvement of health, knowledge for the benefit of society and science. Okay, in a very, very wider way. So we have to know that on high social value, like in use of stem cells to improve quality of life in Huntington's disease patients. Okay, this is the very, very highest, of course, because of the cancer. To cure cancer, this type of study is needed. Less value, like in drug studies conducted to obtain data that allows a new drug to compete in the healthcare, okay, which is more suitable to cure it. It should be methodologically rigorous. Miss, I told you that on scientific validity will be carried out by having an evidence-based practice. Fair subject selection. How you will select the samples, okay, with inclusion and exclusion criteria. When you will think that you want to do in research, okay, frame in a problem statement, then derive the inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. Okay, think that when you are doing a study on an stress and coping among COVID patients, okay, or affected people. On the time, you have to have that one, you have to take only make a criteria that one who has to be selected, whom you are selecting, then how you are doing it. Okay, this comes as an inclusion, maybe specifically age group or gender or some of the criteria. This has to be followed throughout your study. Next, if it's not there, you can put as an exclusion. Exclusion criteria may be excluded, means those who are excluding from an inclusion criteria. And a valid number of subjects in order to project results to the population. Always keep it in mind, the samples must be proportionate to what you are studying. Okay, it depends upon what type of study you are doing, whether it is a quantitative research or qualitative research or mixed methods of research, or it is depends upon your objectives, the design, and whether you're testing an hypothesis. Always keep it in mind when you're going for research, the samples must be larger in numbers. Okay. State a research method clearly so that another person can conduct advanced study in a future, okay, foreign publication using publication. Whenever you are conducting, okay, it must be having a very solid research study, okay, research design. This will help you to control all other things. Do not gloss research method, okay, from another's. Should not falsify or modify omitted data. Very, very important, okay. Think that when you are doing a research to get some grants or some more publications, others has to feel good. On the time, don't modify or it is an fabrication, okay, or falsely you are motivating or modifying it, or you are fabricating the data and you are publishing it. Okay, don't do this type of things. Okay, always be humble, and whenever you're doing in research, okay, it is your own study, and also it is a honest work. Okay, use actual data for analysis, cannot include someone else's data. Report errors if you are having. Okay, be very humble, be aware of a conflict of interest, should not withhold or waking up an information. Keep data and material for at least 5 years. Data and material should be available for others to follow it. Okay, because when you will publish it, okay, others also will do, they will read and they will conduct the study. Do not present and publish paper from incomplete research or from anticipated outcomes. Okay, think that one, what happens in a thesis or you are having, okay, you are having 3 or 4 objectives. You are doing it in 1 or 2 objectives you are taking in this way, or in this paper, and other 2 objectives in other one. Don't do this type of things. Okay, whenever you are in publishing, it must be your complete research and it must be complete your form. Should not duplicate publications or submissions. I told you that when you are submitting to any agency, submit to only one agency or publisher. Okay, the thing that now you have submitted to one journal, the same thing you are publishing in the conference. Okay, it is very, very unethical. Avoid piecemeal publication. Okay, this is called as a piecemeal publication. Should be reviewed independently by unaffiliated. So we have to have the intellectual property rights. We have to highlight it. Okay, how we will follow it, or how we will protect the rights of an individual or the researcher. Okay, by citation and authorship. This is the one of the way to go for an intellectual properties rights. Okay, wherever you are taking any information, okay, you have to cite in your studies. Maybe it is in paper or thesis or in synopsis or in whatever you're writing. Okay, and authorship. See, authorship, what you will do, think that when it is not your single study, it is your 3 or 4 people are doing it. It is a group study. On the time, you are first to before starting only, you make your own authorship. Okay, first one, second one, third one, fourth one. Okay, and how much they will contribute to your study. On that basis, mutually you can have it. Otherwise, also you can in a black and white, you can make as an authorship deals. Inclusion, writing and significant scientific contribution, and order of contribution, actual researchers and those who are helped it. Okay, approval must be sought to include a name. Always keep it in mind. This is known as an research authorship. Whenever somebody, okay, else work is quoted, okay, reference should be made to the original author. Always keep, okay, this is very, very important. This is the work of an researcher. You have taken from some others, okay, you have followed it, or you have taken it, you want to add or you want to quote it. Okay, when you are quoting, it must be year and from who's the person. Okay, it may be in an what you say at the same time, okay, where you are writing it. Okay, otherwise also at the end notes, okay, you can put it. Acknowledgement should include the names of a person who helped, okay, whoever it may be. Next, what happens? Breach of ethics in research would amount to scientific misconduct. Always keep it in mind. We have seen that on what is ethics, what is research ethics, and which are all the principles of an ethics. Then how to follow it, okay, how to inculcate. But if you are not following it, or something that when you are overlooked it, on the time it comes under scientific misconduct. When your misconduct, okay, is there, then you will be liable for the illegal. It is an illegal act and it is punishable. Okay, there are so many ways or forms of scientific misconduct. First one is the fraud. Okay, is nothing but invention on fabrication of data. Okay, fraud. Okay, means you are collecting this one, otherwise you are making your own data and you are submitting is plagiarism, copying data, ideas, text without acknowledgement of the source. Just now I applied said that one, there are so many types of plagiarism. Okay, whether you're copying only the small portions or full as it is. Okay, there are so many types. Whatever the type is there, it is a misconduct. Piracy, infringement of a copyright, you are not adhering to the copyright rights. Submitting or publishing the same paper to different journals. Okay, this is also a scientific misconduct. Not informating a collaborator of your intent to file a patent in order to make sure that you are the sole inventor. Okay, including a colleague as an author on a paper in return for a favor, even though the colleague did not make a serious contribution to the paper. Okay, so I told you that one, how we can overcome this type of problems by authorship. Okay, how before only starting you mutually make an authorship. Next, trimming outliers from a data set without discussing your reasons in paper, using an inappropriate statistical technique in order to enhance the significance of your research. Very, very important. Okay, because especially if you see when you are doing in quantitative research, you are analyzing it through an SPSS. Then what will happen? Okay, if you want to favor the any media or any agency, on the time we will use which is not so suitable, but it is okay, it favors it. Okay, on that time this is also one of the unethical things. Bypassing the peer review process and announcing your results through a press conference without giving peers adequate information to review your work. Whenever you're going for a peer review or a conference or an press conference, okay, always you have to have you have to intimate others who are involved in this one, because it is a collective work. Conducting a review of the literature that fails to acknowledge contributions of others. Okay, very, very important. You see that whenever you are selecting in any problem, you have to do the review of literature. Okay, very in-depth often review of literature. When you do in review of literature, it gives rise to research gaps. Okay, you will come to know the gap. What is research gap? Research gap is what is earlier there, what is there, then what is the difference, what is the gap, what was there, that will be filled by you. Okay, it will helps you to know that one, what was there, then what will be, and what you can expect it. Stretching the truth on a grant application in order to convince the reviewers that your project will make a significant contribution to the field. Okay, means you are making a false truth and you are propagating that to get the money or the grant. Overworking, neglecting, or exploiting research students because they are in your hand, because you cannot exploit. Okay, making derogatory comments and personal attacks in your review of an author submission, making significant deviations, okay, from the research protocol approved by review board without informing the committee. Okay, for any changes you want to do, or if you want to how in the protocol, or you are applying something else, on the time you have to intimate the committee, okay, board committee, and also you have to take the permission. Not reporting an adverse event in a human research experiment. Okay, something has happened, especially when you are doing on humans, on the time you have to mention it, you have to intimate the people. Wasting animals in research, exposing students and staff to biological risk. Okay, rejecting a manuscript for publication without even reading it. Okay, sometimes it happens. Okay, it is also a very unethical one. Subjugating someone's work. Okay, somebody has done the work, then just you change the first or few pages, then you are submitting it. Okay, rigging an experiment so you know how it will turn out. Deliberately overestimating the clinical significance of a new drug in order to obtain economic benefits. Okay, especially when you are dealing with health conditions. So overcome this type of an misconduct, okay, ethical review committee or an IRB, institutional review board, plays a very, very important role. Okay, it is actually IRB work is to maintain ethical standards of practice in research, okay, in an institution or wherever the research is taking place. Ensure protection of subjects or research workers from harm or exploitation, to provide reassurance to the public, to protect researchers from unjustified criticism. So ethical review is very, very important. How we can go for it? Okay. Actually, each institution is having their own forms, okay, ethical clearance form, and you can attach your manuscript or whatever it may be, synopsis or thesis, okay. And you can have the questionnaires or the tools, okay, consent forms, information, everything you have to submit it. Then they will do the scrutiny. Then they will give the permission. When ethical clearance is granted, data collection can be commenced according to the approved methodology. Okay, don't deviate from the protocol. Now we have seen up to now, okay, what is ethics, what is research ethics, and the principles, then its significance, then if what is misconduct, research misconduct, then how to overcome it. Okay, next is when you have done it, okay, you have to write the research, okay, and you have to report it. When reporting, okay, is the very, very important work of any researcher or any academician. What is this research reports? Okay, research reports are detailed and accurate accounts of the conduct of disciplined studies accomplished to solve problems or to reveal the new knowledge. Okay, whenever you will see that when I am writing or I am reporting, it means it is a research paper. Well, of course, you have conducted your own self. It may be in your own paper or it may be in your review paper also. Okay, don't think that a research report is only yours. Okay, and it is an accurate one. Okay, and you are accomplishing to reveal the new knowledge. How you have to write it? Okay, how you have to select it? Research writing is nothing but first you have to select it, then you have to write it. Okay, before writing it, we will see that one how you have to find out. Okay, from here I will get it. Okay, first one is find a topic. Okay, how you have to find a topic? Think that you are in the law. Okay, very, very practically, if you see that one, you just go through review of literature, read books. I told you that one just a few minutes back. You have to read a lot, read and write. Okay, and you just contact your guides, teachers, colleagues, friends, and brainstorm with them. Okay, and find out when you read it. Okay, you will come to know that one, which is the newest topic, like in an media studies or in cyberbullying. Okay, this is the very, very newest topics in research. Okay, or in surrogacy, rights of parents in surrogacy. Okay, these are all the topics. And also you can do a review of literature. You can use in different softwares like in Jotero, EndNote, Mendeley. Okay, there are so many like in PubMed, Web of Science, Scopus. Okay, all will help you to find out the topic. When you'll find out a topic, okay, it must be very, very catchy and it must be interesting. Okay, because when you are writing any paper or when you are studying a thesis or when you are writing in a synopsis, okay, if it's not interested, then you will not finish it off, because whenever you're doing it, somewhere it has to give an resistance or it has to give an eustress. I'm not telling that distress. Okay, then it has to be challenging to you. When it is challenging on the time, you will get an interest. Okay, and above all, when you are submitting it or you're disseminating it, okay, others has to read it. When people will read it, must be interested, or if it is catchy on the time, people will follow. Then you will get an indexing and citations. While you explore the topic, narrow down or broaden it, okay, we will say it's a final approach, okay, the target and focus on something that gives the most promising results. Okay, when you're finding on a topic, go for a general one. Okay, like in what you say, legal studies. In legal studies, okay, there are so many laws are there, like in general law, civil law, criminal law. Okay, then you choose the one thing. Okay, in criminal law, then come to the particular, then you take the topic. Okay, it is called as a funnel. How the funnel will be there, from broader to very, very specific. Next, consult. Okay. Next, explore the topic. Find primary and secondary sources. Primary sources, okay, from where you will get from the books, okay, or if anybody has done the research on this one, okay. Secondary sources, other sources, like in others, okay, or any census or any other information. Read and critically analyze the review of literature. Very, very important. You have to do very in-depth review. Okay. For an in-depth review, you can go to your library manually also. Otherwise, also you can do it as an online. There are so many websites. Okay. Or and softwares are there. Mendeley, Jotero, EndNote. Okay. Then PubMed, Scopus. Okay. IEEE. Then there are so many legal softwares are also available. You can utilize it. Then you have to find out. Take notes. Okay, always have the habit of taking notes. Okay, compile surveys, collect data, and gather materials. Come up with the new ideas. Okay, new innovative ideas. Then you reframe it. Try to formulate your ideas in a few sentences. Okay, then you can define it. You can refine it. Okay, brainstorm it. Very, very important. Brainstorming is the one which you will get in a newest topic, and then you can frame it very easily with your colleagues, with your mentors. Okay. Think about methods and hypothesis and design. Very, very important. Means because you have to, you see that only you have to complete your research within 3 years or in 5 years. Okay. If it isn't too broad or in too vague or in too new, that also you cannot finish it off. Okay. So it must be accessible, acceptable, then easily you can complete it. Think about methods. So what type of methods, whether it is in quantitative methods or in qualitative or in mixed methods, whether you are using questionnaires or you are using an interview or you are using in triangulation, like, both you are mixing it up and you are collecting it. Okay. Hypothesis. Whether it is in testing it, okay, null hypothesis, then alternative hypothesis, then what type of design, whether it is in quantitative design, qualitative design, or mixed methods of design. These are all the things you have to keep it in mind before selecting the topic. Next, clarity. It must be very, very specific. Okay, what you are doing it. Don't derail from your protocol or having things. Okay, avoid ambiguity. Use predominantly the active voice, not the passive voice. Deal with one issue in one paragraph when you are writing it, when you are manuscript, you are taking it. Next is the precision. Be accurate. Okay. Very, very important. Whenever you see research is in a very accurate way of displaying. Double check the data, references, citations, statements. Avoid metaphors, look for grammar. Okay, you have to write in a researchable way, very simple, and it must be understandable. Before I say go for references, organize the references. Very, very important, because you see you are collecting a lot from a review of literature. You are reading a lot while writing a research paper. Think that when you are writing a research paper on cyber laws, okay, cyber laws, you are reading a lot. Books you are reading in magazines, you are reading online things. On the time you are getting in so many references, but how you have to file it? Okay, you can use it in manually also. Think that on the paper you are writing is a smaller one. Okay, on the time you can make it as in manually, but go for an software nowadays available, like in Mendeley, Jotero. Okay, these are the best softwares for reference management. So organize all the information in a file or paper. Use title, author's name, surname, and year of publication. Very, very important. Always keep it in mind. I'm telling you very practically when you are using it from the starting only. To whom you are sending it. Okay, to which publishers and which magazine. Okay, that matters a lot. Go for that guidelines of a magazine. Which reference style they are using, whether they are using in an APA style, then whether they are using in MLS style, whether they are using Vancouver, IEEE, okay, or an Harvard style, you stick on to that one. Develop creative writing skills. Very, very important. Read, okay, and also in other theses. Go to library, otherwise search it. There are so many search engines are there, like in Shodhganga, Shodhgangotri. Okay, then there are so many legal sites are available. You can read their thesis or in thesis or in papers or in journals, where you want to publish it. The similar things, then you will come to know that on how we can write it. Consider time management and scientific writing, very, very important, because you may think that on it is in 3 years or in 5 years, but it is so less to manage. So have an time management and you stick on to it. It is a very, very rigid time schedule with what you have to do within this month, 3 months, 6 months, then 1 year, then each day what you have to do. How many chapters are there? Because from starting to finding out a topic till dissemination, this is the process. So you have to know that on how you can manage the time. Visualize the research writing or thesis on a manuscript or whatever it may be. Always think that when just to get in citations, it's not the one. Whenever you're publishing any thesis or in any manuscript or in any paper, it talks a lot. It talks about your persona. It talks about your philosophy. It is your own image. Always keep it in mind. A content page, written at the beginning of the research helps you to visualize the basis. In general, the content page is based on research methodology. Revise the content page as the research progresses. When you are able to visualize the whole thesis, then you will come to know the gaps. I told you that on, at the starting, research gaps will help you to give an credibility. It gives an insight for your research, how you to move the process. How you can go for it is the summary of writing the research process. Anything you take, whether it is in thesis, synopsis, or in manuscript, or in any paper, define and strictly follow a schedule with the dates for writing every chapter of the thesis. If it's in thesis, first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter, and other things within the time management, how you can, when you can finish it up. Helps to know the drawbacks. Create empty pages for every chapter. Means when you are writing it manually, you can add it. Select section and subsection of the thesis. Insert papers and slides that you wrote into the thesis. Start writing the most recent work. Very, very important. What happens here? Think that one it is so difficult, it is so rigid, because you don't have that type of an very in-depth knowledge about research theory. On the time, it becomes cumbersome. It becomes so difficult to write. On the time, you will you may feel that one denied of an work. On the time, whatever you know, you write it. First, you what exactly you have done it. You can write it, because the introduction, summary, conclusions, this abstract writing, this can be done at the last. Every time that you get a good idea for a section of the thesis that you are not working on at the moment, write something quickly about the appropriate page. Think that when you got an idea. If ideas is there, just note down at the corner, or when you're using it in software, it makes you to add automatically. If you are tired of writing a particular, take break, then go for some refreshment. Then keep always the mind very, very cool. Do practice silence, practice meditation. Will gives you a good thoughts, a good energy. Leave the conclusion, abstract, and appendix at the end of the writing. So whenever you're writing anything, especially the thesis, concentrate on the problem, question, or an issue. Why it is important? How does it fit for in your study? Whether what type of design you are using, experimental, non-experimental, or in both. What is the results, conclusions, how it is a contribution to your field, possible applications, then who will rule, how the future work will be there, all the things you have to keep. This is then a very pictorial way of doing in a thesis or in writing the thesis, like a background content, issue, which is debatable, then chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, then outline, reporting, then summarize, then restate, then link to the next chapter. Then you can disseminate the findings. Usually when you are writing in thesis, these are all the sub topics or in sub chapters. Okay, usually all the any university you take, these will be there, but it will be varies from university to university. Okay, if you see in Western universities is an entirely different, and Indian universities are different, but Indian universities are having the same thing, like an introduction, review of literature, research methodology, data analysis, summary, conclusion and recommendations, references and appendices. And usually first initial pages will be there, like in title page, approval sheet, abstract, acknowledgement, dedication, then table of contents and figures. Okay, always keep it in mind whether you are an undergraduate, postgraduate, or MPhil or in PhD. Okay, it differs the way of writing. Usually the length and also in breadth will be in PhD or masters. Okay, MPhil, okay, it is very deeper than the masters. And where you are writing, whether it is in you are writing a paper or in where you are submitting, it also matters. This is the title. You have to write, define very critically with an emblem, by whom, to whom you are submitting, and you have to always maintain the what you say, margins, then font size, by whom, all the things. Okay, dissertation usually 1 inch. Okay, we will give title, author's name. This is the how you have to write the title. Okay, then the topic, then your name, who is the approval. Okay, approval authority. This is the university. Okay, it differs from university to university, but this is the common way of writing it. Okay, almost all universities will follow this pattern. Title of the paper. Okay, title and number of the thing, date, student name. Okay, then double spacing, then how much is the margin. Okay, left side, right side, from up and down. Next comes approval state. This is to prove that the authors have passed the requirements. Okay, by your advisor or an dean. Okay, they will give the things. Approval state, approval sheet, by whom. Okay, advisor, then by department. Okay, next comes abstract. Okay, very, very important. How to write an abstract? Abstract is nothing but the sum. It's not a summary. This is the overall way of presenting it. Okay, presents a brief summary of your thesis. The aim of abstract is to briefly provide the reader the most important information from the entire text. This you can write at the last. Okay, it may be within 200 to 250 pages or in 2 pages. Okay, depending upon where you are submitting it. Okay, you just follow it, then you write an abstract. Usually 350 words for PhDs and 150 words for masters. Okay, when you're writing this abstract, always be creative, and it must be very, very informative, and it must be interesting in nature. Okay, so use the language very simple and very critically. Abstract, you can see this is the way of writing it. Maybe 250 to plus 10 or 20 words. If it is an extra, it doesn't matter, but don't go on dragging it. Okay, this is the way of writing. Sorry, abstract. Find out the margins. Okay, left side, right side, up and down, then font size, then in middle, then if you want to add the source, you can add it at the down. Next comes an acknowledgement. This is a who has given an gratitude. Okay, showing in gratitude for an organizations and the people. Then you can add it, acknowledgement. Okay, you can add overall as contributed to you. You have to be grateful. This also having an measurement from 2 inches. Okay, 1 inch from left to right. Next, dedication. If you want to dedicate 1 page, you can add it. Measurement. Okay, every institution or every university is having their own protocol. Next comes is a table of contents. Table of contents is essentially an outline. Okay, what all things are there in your thesis or in your synopsis or in your paper. Okay, table of contents usually acknowledgements, figures, tables. Okay, chapters, how many chapters, then page numbers you have to add it. List of tables and figures, very, very important. Okay, you have to write down here all the tables and figures with the page numbers. Okay, this also differs. Okay, from university to university, from thesis to thesis. Then always keep it in mind. If it is in you are sending to any journal you have to add that on, you stick on to that figure, how many figures they're asking, how many tables they're asking. If it is in figures, what is their resonance? Okay, what is their image, size, and its resonance? Okay, how much that you have to stick on to it. Otherwise, they may reject your paper. Okay, it is called as desk rejection. So always keep it in mind. Okay, the drawings, okay, the photographs, and you stick on to it. You can write it. Okay, tables and chapters. Next comes chapters. Okay, very important. Okay, maybe title you have to write problem in background, review of literature, methodology, presentation analysis and interpretation of the data. Next, usually summary, conclusion, recommendations. Usually we are having in 5 chapters. Measurement. First one is the first chapter, usually the introduction and background of the study. Introduction, this you can write it at the last, okay, because you know that you have done the study, okay, you are having a deep concept, then you can write it, whether it is in thesis, synopsis, or in any paper. Here, when you are writing in an introduction, it must be very catchy, it must be very interesting, and it must be very simple, and it has to give an foresight for your, the further things. Okay, you have to write it. Highlight background, why you are doing it, what it is. Okay, what is the significance of your study? So when you are doing it, come from general to specific. Okay, very important for the final approach. Okay, it is an reverse of an triangular shape. Okay, so from very broader to your what you want to do it here. Introduction. Okay, so just write an topic, significance, background, and highlight the gap. I told you that on research gaps, when you highlight it, you will come to know that the contribution and its significance will come to know from the research gaps. Significant. Next comes is the significance of study. Why you are doing, then who will benefit from your study? Okay, for an individual, for your basis, for your knowledge of the domain of your things, then for the community, for the nation, for the internationally, you have to explain it. Next comes thesis statement. Frame the thesis statement. Okay, how to frame it? Be in an assertive way. Okay, in a declarative form, better to frame the thesis. That also depends upon your domain of interest, whether it's legal. Okay, it's a different. Usually, we will frame health is different. But whenever you are framing a problem statement on thesis statement, always keep it in mind. It must have a dependent variable, independent variable, then setting, then population. All the things it has to describe it. Next comes hypothesis. Okay, from objectives and from a problem statement, you derive a hypothesis. What is this hypothesis? It is the testing of an independent, the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. So when you are framing it, always frame in first one as a null hypothesis, then alternative hypothesis, H0 and H1, because H0 isn't testable. It isn't statistical hypothesis. We will test it by statistical methods. Next one is the conceptual framework. Some of the universities, okay, domains, they will keep it, some others will not keep. I don't know, in a legal framework, but in a conceptual framework, it's far better to have it. Okay, it will come to know that from starting to end how you are going through it in a pictorial way. So you will come to know that on research its relevance, ideas of construct, how you have done it, or doing it, identify and discuss the variables, okay, from each to one to another one, relationships, in which is an independent variable, dependent variable, okay, then intervening variables. All the things will be seen or visualized in a graphical way. So it is known as a framework, conceptual framework. This will be changing also, but you can use some of the relevant theories or models, then you can frame your own conceptual framework. For example, okay, instructional materials and equipment, okay, which are all the things, input, throughput, and output, okay, of a conceptual model. So throughput is a profile. Then what is the output? Okay, this will be seen within diagrams which will captures. Then you will come to know that what the researcher is doing. Next one is the scope and delimitation. Scope is the mainly overall you are covering it. Delimitation is the limitation of your study to samples and the settings or some of the things. Next one is the definition of terms. Very, very important. You have to write what it means in your problem statement. Think that only you have taken the problem statement, for example, stress and coping among COVID patients. Okay. Here, stress and coping is a very, very vague word because there are so much of an types of stress is there: financial stress, physical stress, economical stress. Okay, then coping is also positive coping, negative coping, physical coping, then psychological coping, social coping. Okay, what it means in your study, this you have to define it. It is known as an operational definitions. Next one is the review of literature. Very, very important one. I told you that one, it has to be started from an, when you will say that one, I want to do research. Okay. I want to write a thesis. On that time only, you have to start a review of literature. Okay. Finding out from the books, journals. Okay. Read, and write it. Okay. Then you can make use of an libraries, like an e-libraries. Okay. Shodha Ganga, then Shodha Gangotri. There are so many other Mendeley, EndNote, so Jotiro will help you to it acts as an reference manager also, as well as your own library. You have to organize it. You have to know that on how it organized. You think that on the review of literature is so much is there. Okay, you are having more than 300 literatures are there. You want to make it. Okay, so on the time you can divide it, you can make it in sub divisions, then you can write it. Okay, be proportionate, then you write in very, very recent one. Think that one usually they will say 5 years, but if you ask me, it is far better to go for very, very recent within 3 years of publications. Okay, so it must cover all the specific problems, evidences. Okay, then what all things, hypothesis, research design, then all other things it has to cover. Okay, when you're writing it, follow one pattern. Okay, then note the reference styles, then keep it in mind. Next comes as in chapter 3 is the methodology. Very, very important how we are doing it. The purpose of the methodology is to give an experienced investigator information about the how you can replicate it. Okay, how we are doing it. Okay, the research work from starting from identifying the problem to till you disseminate it. The chapter should begin with a paragraph reiterating the purpose of the study. Okay, then you have to follow the order. Here, first one is the research design. The appropriate research should be specified and described. Okay, why you selected it? Okay, for your study, very, very important. Like an descriptive or an explorative or an quantitative design, qualitative design, or mixed methods of an research design. Okay, which design you are using? Why you chosen it? That matters. You have to give an rationale. Okay, so descriptive, maybe qualitative, descriptive as in quantitative. Why you selected it? Next comes research design. Okay, methodologies. Next, you can write as an population samples. Okay, who is the what is the population? Okay, what is the strength? Then how it is? You have to describe it. Then samples. How you selected samples? How many samples? Okay, how you come to know that when these many samples are enough to my study? So on that time you have to give an rationale, which method you have used, which formula you used, then how you come to know. Okay, think that one, if it is in quantitative studies, I told you that one, it must be more samples. Okay, go for an generalization, because when the thought of a researcher, when you're going for a quantitative, is to generalize it. Okay, so on that time, more samples means homogeneity will be more, or your credibility of the study will be more. Research instrument, what you are using, describe the instrument, whether it is a questionnaire or an observation, or otherwise you are using it in mixed methods. Okay, focus group interview, what it measures, how you have done it. Okay, what it is, qualification of informants, whether they can follow it or not. Okay, validation procedure. Think that on you have prepared a tool. Okay, you have to validate it. So send to odd number of people, related one, then go for it. Then scrutinize it, consult your guide, then validate it. Okay, find out the reliability. It must be reliable. Okay, then only you can go for a further process. Reliability must be, if it is in 0.7 plus, means it is okay. It is an researchable. Okay, it is having positive. If it is comes to 0.8 or 0.9, it is very, very good. Okay, go for an Spearman's or okay. Finding out the reliability. Next one is procedure, how we are doing it. Okay, if it is in qualitative study, you have to know that one Very, very important. Okay, where you are doing, how you are doing, okay, which methodology you are using it, then who is the participant, because you will also be an participant there, okay, as a researcher. So you have to describe it very in depth. Describe the instrument, okay, then how you are processing and treatment of the data. You have to find here you have to highlight the ethical consideration, okay. If it is a qualitative study, where you are doing it, how we are doing it, okay, how we are taking the permission, and then how many days you will be there, what all, how you are involving them, okay, what type of study, then how we will maintain the confidentiality. These are all the things we have to keep it in mind. Next one is, after data collection, you have to process it, then you have to analyze it, okay. You can have it manually also, but far better go for an softwares, okay. In both quantitative and qualitative studies, the precise method how the data will be processed and analyzed, you have to describe it, okay. You can put data in an Excel sheet, then you can transfer it to, especially we will using an SPSS, SAS, okay, then R, Python, if you are using very advanced ones, okay. Otherwise, think that only if you are using directly from SurveyMonkey, what you say, SPSS is good. If you are using for an qualitative, go for an NVivo. Okay, NVivo is the best software for an analysis. Next comes chapter 4th is the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of the data. You have whatever the collected, you have to present it, because raw data, it don't have any meaning. To get the meaning, you have to present it. Okay, present the findings of the study in the order of the specific problem as stated in the statement of the problem. Okay, maybe in the form of tables, okay, figures, textual, graphical, okay, you have to analyze it. Analyze the data will be analyzed quantitatively or qualitatively, or in both. If you want to do, you always keep it in mind the research design, okay, it matters a lot. How you're using the design, like that you have to frame, analyze it, okay. And also in your objectives, whatever the objective is there, that you have to fulfill it. Analyze in depth to give meaning, okay. Then statistical descriptions, okay, what type of version you are using, okay. Next, you have to interpret it. I told you that one, without interpretation, there is no meaning of it, okay. What it means, even though you have used an SPSS software gives a table, but what it means in your study, okay, how that must be done. Chapter 5th is in summary, findings, conclusions, and recommendations, okay. You have to summarize the findings according to your objectives, okay, silent findings, then whether you have tested the hypothesis, what the hypothesis is given the finding. Next one is the conclusions can be drawn on the basis of your objectives and design, okay, and hypothesis, okay. Conclude it, okay, in a very positive, in a very open way, like in a micro or macro level of an levels of an approach, okay. It is called as a zoom lens approach. You have to follow it. Next, recommend it. Recommendations, how you write in recommendations, okay. You have to write in very wider way and very out of the box. You have to write in recommendations, okay. Means how these findings will be useful, then who can do, then how they can take in this further for the research study. It must be feasible, workable, flexible, and doable and adaptable, because they can utilize your findings, then they can do it. Very, very important, references, okay, because if you don't do this one, you will get an it comes as another plagiarism, okay. So always keep it in mind that when it is a misconduct, then your thesis or your paper may rejected. So follow the references like an APA, American Psychological Association, or a Modern Language Association, MLA, Vancouver, Harvard, IEEE, Chicago, Royal Society of Chemistry style, okay. Follow what the university follows, okay, your university, or to whom you are sending your manuscript. Sometimes they may having in footnotes or in endnotes, okay. If it's footnotes, every page is having, you have to write down, okay, who are all the author and year, then follow the reference style. Otherwise, it is usually it is an endnote. Nowadays, they are not using it as in footnotes. In very rarely we are seeing. You can use this type of databases, okay, for writing manuscripts, or just to follow it like an open access thesis and dissertation, OITD, Shodhaganga, Shodhagangotri, Harvard Library, EBSCO, American Doctoral Dissertation, okay, Melville, ProQuest, Stanford University Libraries, Open Thesis, WorldCat, dissertation and thesis. Ethos, British Library, electronic thesis online system, okay. Cambridge University Library, Oxford University, Princeton University Library, CSULB, Lib Guides is very, very important. Cornell University, NDLTD, DART, Europe-based portal, OYO link, OITD open access thesis and dissertation, then PQDT, okay, open Procast 1. This will help you to get a very in-depth knowledge about different domains of the thesis or in any paper, okay, also you can do it. Now you have prepared it, okay, now you have to publish it, okay, whether it is in thesis or your paper, okay, paper publication. Especially if you are an postgraduate or an PhD, you can publish it to your thesis as a book also, otherwise also as in paper also, okay. Every thesis is different, okay, you have to know that on which you can derive the articles from it, otherwise you can prepare your own book and you can make it, okay. Your thesis should generate transferable knowledge and skills that must be used in daily work, okay. Maybe you can publish it as a periodical, okay, popular magazines, trade journals, okay, scholarly journals, journal articles, letters, or an editors as an abstract, encyclopedias, handbooks, dissertation, conference proceedings, office publications, news reports, okay, case reports, review, clinical trials, okay. These are the type of publications. Whether you can publish it fully, otherwise also as an some of the concepts, then you can make it as an for your own work, okay. Maybe chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and also final one. But always keep it in mind, follow the publication ethics, okay, how you can make it. What is written first and chapters or articles, okay. Need to decide whether you want to write okay, chapter 1 or chapter 2. Always write the whichever you know what you have done it, okay. Be efficient about writing. What is being written along way will be part of your thesis and updated at the end. Try not to make articles or chapters too different from each other, okay. It must have a coherence. You can convert your chapters into journal articles also. You with then adding the references, change the front introduction para and also backing, okay, expand the parts. You can derive it to some of the concepts, then you can write your articles. To whom you have to submit it, okay. Think that when you have written your manuscript, then to whom or in which journals you have to submit it. Very, very important and very, very critical question it is. Think that when you are in a law student, okay, so on that time search the law journals and also don't pay even a single penny. I'm telling you one thing, there are Scopus or there are legal websites or publishers are there, they will publish in a 0A. Otherwise also, if some publishers, they ask APC, okay, article processing charges, it will be very minimal, okay. Don't give 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, okay, that because it is now is a mafia or what you call it is also a business that I will publish it within a few days, okay, or in a few months, then you give this much of money, okay. So they will send emails or frequent email sending, and also they will phone you, okay. So be careful how to select in journals, okay. It may be always keep it in mind that it must be a genuine journal. So see that it must be having an UGC care list. Then you talk to others, okay, whether this journal is a genuine or not, okay. So you just plan it, okay, how can, when to do it, okay. Then just to do the surfing, okay, in Scamago, then you will come to know that on which journals are appropriate to my topic of an research, okay. Whether it is having the impact factor or not, okay. Impact factor is nothing but the average of 2 times articles that are published within 2 years, okay. Whether it is having or not, okay. Impact factor, if it is more, impact factor is more, then it is shown that it is a globally recognized journal and it is a good one, it is having, okay. Then publish it in a very relevant journal, okay. So this is the way of writing an overall research paper and publishing, getting started, talking with others, planning your research, conducting it, then you are drafting it, then you are publishing it, okay. Paper publication process. very, very important. Okay. Paper or and whatever it may be, thesis also, how you have to publish it. Choose the journal, select a suitable journal. Okay. Consider journal's impact factor. I told you indexing, H indexing, I indexing, J indexing. Now A indexing is also there. Then target audience is very, very important. Who will read my paper? Okay. That matters a lot. So on this basis, you have to select things. Okay. So always go for genuine journals. Okay. Otherwise, it will maybe clone journal or predatory journals. You have to know that on how you have to differentiate between predatory and cloned journals. Okay. Next, preparing the manuscript. How you have to prepare? Authors need to write their research findings in the form of paper. Okay. You have to know that on go through which journal you are in publishing it, or okay, to whom you are sending it. On the time they are having the protocol, they are having the way of writing it. Okay, read it, the instructions, read that instructions, then you stick on to it. Okay, their guidelines and formatting structure. Okay, so there are so many different ways of writing the manuscript. Usually we will follow IMRAD format. Okay, but there are so many other formats are there, like an AMA format, abstract, methods, results, and conclusions. Okay. Next, claims. Okay, context, location, agent, interaction, mechanism, and solution. Usually CREAC. Okay, conclusion, rule, explanation of the rule, application of the rule, then conclusion, then legal research papers. Okay, usually they will follow in CRAC, MEAL, PEAL, PAC, FEA, ICED. Okay, then REAP. These are all the types of style of writing the manuscript. Okay, so you just to read the instructions, then you follow it. Next, you submit it. Okay, you have to submit an online. Okay, they will ask the particulars about your phone number, your affiliation, and email, just to give them. Then you just wait for months, then you may get a reply. Peer review. Okay, the submitted manuscript is assigned to experts in the field, typically anonymous reviewers. Okay, who assess the paper's quality, validity, contribution to the field. Okay, having their own. Okay, they are having each publisher is having their own way of reviewing it. Okay, the reviewers provide feedback and recommendations to the authors and editor. Okay, if any want to any changes they need. See here what happens. Okay, you have to prepare very, very attractively, very following their guidance. Okay, think that one you have fabricated. Okay, or if you are not written according to their language or according to their format, or immediately they will reject it. It is called then desk rejection. Okay, if they reject it, okay, don't feel disheartened. You just correct it, then you resubmit it. Otherwise, if they say that one, you just resubmit or you do the modifications. Okay, you you do edit it, then you submit it. Okay, then also, okay, sometimes what happens, you write whenever you're submitting, you submit with the coverage covering letter. Very, very important. You just write that one from whom, to whom you are submitting, what is the subject, and just to write what you have done it, okay, topic, and it's a significance. Then you just humbly you have to request that one, you please publish it in this one. Okay, I will be very grateful. That it shows that on your kindness. Okay, it is more attractive always. Okay, without covering letter, don't send any manuscript to any publishers. Next one is the revisions. Based on the feedback from the reviewers, the authors may need to make revisions and improve the manuscript. Okay, this may involve reanalyzing the data, addressing critics, and clarifying certain points. Okay, think that one they didn't find, okay, the real meaning. Okay, or if they are any falsity, okay, they may ask for what it means, or how we have done it. Okay, whatever the explanation you give, you send the explanation in a very humble and very honest way. Next one is the acceptance. If the manuscript meets the journal standards and the reviewers are satisfied with the revisions, the manuscript may be accepted for publication. Okay, so next one is the proofreading and editing. Okay, the accepted manuscript, it is copy edited and formatted to meet the journal's style and guidelines. Okay, and they will get the proof. Next, it is a publication. Once the proofreading and editing process is complete, the paper is published online. You can get it, and then also you can get a print journal. Okay. Then it is accessible for the scientific community. Then just I want to conclude, ethics are norms for conduct that distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Research ethics involves the application of fundamental ethical principles to research activities, which include design, implementation, and reporting of research outputs. Scientific misconduct and the regulation of research. When the conducting research on human subjects, always keep it in mind that you have to have and minimize harms and risks, and the benefits must be more. Respect for human dignity, privacy, and autonomy has to be held. Okay. With this one, I thank you one and all for giving an opportunity to give my session to one and all. Okay. Thank you one and all. Thank you. Now the floor is open for discussion. Okay. You can ask me. Thank you, madam, for giving an opportunity.
Sir, participants, is there any question, any doubt? So someone is asking, can I get the PPT? There was a question.
I will send you.
Anyone else?
Any question, miss? I'm very happy to answer.
Very informative session. That's true. So anyone else? So shall we? That's it. Any question? Okay. So thank you so much, sir, for your well-researched, informative and relevant discourse on research ethics, research writing and reporting. We are grateful to you, sir, for sharing with us your in-depth knowledge, which has brought clarity in our minds, and we will surely try to assimilate the valuable inputs and knowledge provided to us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. I'm very grateful for giving an opportunity to have a session here in this one. Okay. For anything, you can contact me. Okay. This is my mobile number and email. Okay. 75430292209 and rajesh.kodnoor@gmail.com. Okay. And you can contact me on LinkedIn also or Facebook also. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.